Hello students, in the last two lectures we did charging and discharging of the capacitors. In today's lecture we will see the MCQ related with RC circuit where the resistance and capacitors are connected with a cell or battery. We start with MCQ question number 2. You can download the question from the description of the video. Now MCQ number 2, in the given circuit with steady current, the potential drop across the capacitor must be, so we have one circuit given where we have three cells of potential difference V. So cell 1, this is the second cell and this is third cell. It is connected with the two resistors R and 2R and one capacitor as shown in the figure. The potential difference of the cell is VV and 2V. We have to find out what is the potential drop across a capacitor. Now the circuit is steady. Steady circuit means no current is flowing through the capacitor. We know when the capacitor is fully charged, it block a DC current. So here, once the capacitor is charged, that is, it takes very few seconds to get charged. It block a DC current and no current flow in the circuit, or sorry, no current flow through a capacitor. Now let us name this circuit AB, capacitor is C. So we A, B, D, E, F and G. You have to find out the potential difference across a capacitor C. Now how to analyze this circuit? You have to see the battery which have a high potential difference. So here we have a battery of 2 volt. We connect we start a current from it. Let the current flowing in the circuit is I. Then at the junction no current will flow through capacitor because it is a steady state circuit, or the current across a capacitor or current flowing through capacitor is 0. So that current move to R and it come back to the battery. So this is how the loop is formed. Now in order to find out the potential difference, we first find out the current flowing in the circuit. Clearly the current flowing in the circuit can be found with the help of the Kirchhoff second law. No current will flow in the branch GD. So applying Kirchhoff second law to loop A, B, D, E, F, G, A. So we put a equal sign. We start from A. We come across negative terminal. So while writing on the right hand side, we write -2. You are moving in the direction of current. So -2IR. Then again in the direction of current, -IR. We come across positive terminal. So this is +1. The value given is V only. It is not 2 volt, 2V plus V. So therefore, -3IR is equal to -V. Therefore, current flowing in the circuit is V upon 3R. This much amount of current flow in the circuit. You have to find out the answer in the terms of V because all the options are given in the form of a V. So either you use the Kirchhoff law, or directly, if I don't consider this branch, I can find out the equivalent resistance of the circuit. So 2R is connected in series with R, so equivalent is 3R. Then both this battery are in opposing condition, that is plus is connected with plus, or you can say minus is connected with minus. So potential difference should be subtracted. So here I can directly write I is equal to total EMF upon total resistance, that is 2V minus V upon 3R. So instead of Kirchhoff law, we can immediately find this using the Ohm's law. So now I have to find out the potential difference across capacitor C. Now this plate of a capacitor is connected with a point D. So whatever is the potential of point D, that should be the potential of this plate. Let us consider one point at this. Let us consider this point connected to another plate. Let us name this point as P. So whatever is the potential of P, that should be the potential of this plate. So I have to find out the potential difference between P and D. So if I find out the potential difference between P and D, it should be the potential difference across C. So I apply again the Kirchhoff law, second law, in the open path where I start from D, E, F, G, P, and I stop at P. So this is the Kirchhoff's second law in open path. I can also use the Kirchhoff's second law in the loop D, B, A, G and P. So let us start from D. So VD, the potential at D. Here, then we move in the direction of current, that is minus IR. We come across a positive terminal, so plus V. We come across minus terminal, so minus V. Then we stop at P, so plus VP. This minus minus is cancelled, so VD minus VP is equal to IR. Also it is clear that VD minus VP is positive. It means this plate is at higher potential as compared to the plate which is connected to a point P. Now I we have already found, so I is equal to 3V upon 3R into R. So that becomes V by 3. So potential difference across the two plates of the capacitor is V by 3, that is option number C. So this is how we analyze a circuit in which the resistors are connected with the capacitor under the steady state. 3 and 4. Now 3 and 4 are again together. We have to answer. One circuit is given and there are two questions, that is 3 and 4. So let us draw the circuit first. Now the circuit is given like this. We have a 2 capacitor, 2 resistor and 2 switch connected with a battery. So a network is given. A network is a complicated circuit in which we have a different components connected in different way. Now it is given that initially both the switches are open and the both the capacitors are uncharged. Now switch S1 and S2 are closed simultaneously at t is equal to 0. So both the switch are closed simultaneously at t is equal to 0, and it is not given that whether the switch will be released or not. It means we assume that the switch are closed forever or for a long interval of time. Now once the switch are closed for a long interval of time or for a long time, then the capacitors are fully charged and thereafter they opposes the current. So we know that during that, whether there is a charging or discharging, the current in the circuit decreases. So both the switches are closed simultaneously at t is equal to 0. Question 3 says find out the charge on capacitor C2, and question 4 says find out the charge on capacitor C1. So when the switch are closed, what should be the current flowing in the circuit? It is a steady state. So we start with the current from the positive terminal. Let the current is I. So this I, after coming at junction G, will not flow through C1 because the switches are being closed for a long interval of time. Capacitors are fully charged. So I comes to this point again at junction. the current will not flow through C2, so current will take this path. So the current flowing through both the resistors. So again from D, the current via C comes back to the circuit. Now the path of the current is clear. This is the path of the current. So clearly both the resistance come in the path, or you can say it is a series combination. So either you apply a Kirchhoff's second law, or directly after long time current I is equal to total EMF, that is 18, divided by equivalent resistance R equivalent, that is a series combination, so 9. So 2 ampere of current flow through the circuit. Now if the switch are closed for a long interval of time, or it remain closed, then R2 is parallel to C2. R2 is parallel to C2. So potential difference across ED or potential difference across R2 is equal to the potential difference across C2. So we can say potential difference across R2 is equal to potential difference across C2, because they are in parallel combination. Therefore, what will be the potential difference across R2? If we know the current, then applying the Ohm's law, it is 12 volt. So potential difference across the capacitor C2, let us name it V2. So V2 is 12 volt. So V2 is equal to 12 volt. Now I have to find out the charge. So Q2 is equal to C2 V2, that is equal to 12 volt into the value is 4 microfarad. So that is equal to 448 microcoulomb. So as per option, this is option number C for question number 3. Similarly, 4 will be easier now. Question 4, that is find out the potential difference across C1. So what will be the potential difference across R1? So that can be written as 3 into 2, that is 6 volt. Therefore, Q1 is equal to C1 V1, that is equal to 2 into 6, that is 12 micro coulomb. 12 micro coulomb. So we have option A for question number 4. So this is how you find out the charge across C1 and C2. Then question number 5. Again we have a circuit given to us and we have to find out the charge on the capacitor in a steady state. Question number 5, which is again almost equal to the question number 4. Again a circuit is given where a 1 microfarad capacitor is connected in the circuit shown in the figure. The EMF of the cell is 3 volt and internal resistance is 0.5 ohms. There are two resistors of 4 ohms and 1 ohms respectively as shown in figure. You have to simply find out the charge on capacitor in the steady state. Again you have to remember this: in the steady state no current will flow through a capacitor. So let the current from the battery is I. So this current will flow through the R2 and only through the internal resistance. So first we find out the current I. So I will be equal to total EMF, that is 3 divided by R equivalent. Here R equivalent, only 2 resistance comes into the picture, that is 1 plus 0.5, that is equal to 1.5. So answer, current flowing in the circuit comes out to be 2 ampere. So 2 ampere of the current flow through the circuit. Now no current is flowing. Let us name this branch as AB and this branch as CD. So no current is flowing through branch AB. So whatever is the potential difference across CD, that is the potential difference across BD. And if no current is flowing, this resistance is of no use. So whether this resistance is in the circuit or if it is removed, it does not make any difference. So what will be the potential difference across the capacitor, that will be the potential difference between point A and B. We assume, or you can remove this resistance also from this side and the circuit takes this form. So what will be the potential difference across CD? So potential difference across CD is equal to potential difference across AB, and that becomes a potential difference across a capacitor. Let us name this point as C dash, and let us name the capacitor C. So this becomes equal to R2 into I, that is 1 into 2 ampere, that is equal to 2 volt. Now you have to find out the charge. So charge is equal to Vc into C. So V is equal to 2 and the charge is 1. So 1 micro coulomb, that is the charge on the, 2 into 1, that is equal to 2 micro coulomb. So you get an option B as an answer. Now MCQ number 6. Now that is related with the charging and the discharging of the capacitor. Now in all these 5 or numericals, 4 5 numericals, the circuit was steady. That is, if the key are given, that is closed for a long interval of time. Now let us see question number 6, where the key is not closed for a long interval of time. It is closed only for a short duration. We have two positions, 1 and 2. Initially the key is open. Now let us see the question. This is a key which can be connected alternatively by 1 end at point 1 and 2. Now question 6. The key is connected in turn to each of the contact over a short identical time interval. See, this key is connected with point A and point B, point 1 and point 2 alternatively, but for a short duration of time. So for a short duration, we know whenever the capacitor is connected with the battery, it gets charged, or the current flow for a short interval of time. Thereafter the current start decreasing exponentially. That we have studied about charging and discharging. You can see the process of charging and discharging in the previous 2 videos. So these two, the key is closed for short identical time interval, so that change in the charge on the capacitor over each connection is very small. So the capacitor start charging, but because the key is closed for a short duration, the amount of charge deposited on the capacitor should be small. So we assume a time interval to be very small, so amount of charge deposited on capacitor will also be small. What is the final charge on the capacitor? So we have to find out the final charge on the capacitor. Now suppose the key is kept in contact with point A for a short duration of time. So let us see the step. Suppose key is closed at point 1 for short interval delta t. Now we know that if key is closed for a short interval, the current will flow in the circuit. This current will flow in the circuit with which the passage of the time decreases. So you have to see or you have to use the concept of charging of a capacitor. Now if you remember that theory, the current flowing through the capacitor will be E minus, that was the amount of charge deposited at that time. So that can be written as, suppose V steady state, that is, now how will you read VST? It is a potential across capacitor for a at that instant, that is delta t, that is steady state is obtained when we close it for a short duration. So the potential difference, if you remember, the potential difference across resistor which was maximum. So when the key was open, no current was flowing and the entire potential difference appear across R, and then the capacitor gets charged. So its potential difference opposes the potential difference, and thus potential difference start decreasing. So the current in the circuit becomes at any instant E minus VST, where VST is assumed to be an average steady voltage across C, that is divided by R. So initially, if you remember, in the charging of a capacitor, we have studied initial current was E upon R. That was referred as I naught, the maximum current in the circuit. And with the passage of time, the current start decreasing. So this was the equation. Now this I can be written as delta Q by delta T. So this equation becomes E minus VST upon R into delta T. So I can be written as delta Q by delta T. Now similarly, when key is closed at point 2, so again the current start flowing, and this is the direction of the current, and in this case the current flow like this. In both the cases the current flow through a capacitor for a short duration, and we assume this voltage at any instant. So delta Q in this case will also be equal to, this will be E1, sorry, and this should be E2 minus VST upon, this is R1, this is R2 into delta T, where VST in both the cases is same because the capacitance is same. So the amount of charge deposited on it should be same, and the voltage in both the cases is assumed to be steady because the key is closed for equal interval of time. Now this is the change of a charge on capacitor when E1 comes into picture, and this is when E2 comes into picture. Overall change, overall means the total change in the charge can neither be created nor destroyed. So total change of the charge should be 0. So total change in charge is 0 because charge can neither be created nor destroyed. So here we are finding out the change for a short duration, but the total change should be 0. So addition of this should be equal to 0. So delta Q by delta T plus delta Q by delta T, the total should be 0. So total change is 0. So this is equal to 0. Therefore, we find out the steady voltage. So this becomes E1 R2 minus VST R2, taking the cross multiplication, E2 R1 minus VST R1 equal to 0. Denominator is R1 upon R2, that is equal to 0. We take V steady to be common. So E1 R2 plus E2 R1, this both term goes to that side, and VST is common. So R1 plus R. So what is VST? That is E1 R2 plus E2 R1 upon R1 plus R2. So now you can remember this formula also. So what is the steady voltage? It is an average. So it is not a steady permanent value because the key is not closed for a permanently, it is for short duration. So we called it average steady voltage. Average steady voltage. Interval is same. For same interval they are closed. So the voltage across C will be same. So you can now directly, if this is the situation in the any numericals, you can directly find out the average steady voltage should be E1 resistance of other resistor plus E2 resistance of other resistor divided by the total resistance. Now we have to find out the charge. So the steady charge is C into VST. So value becomes C E1 R2 plus E2 R1 upon R1 plus R2. So this is the charge, final charge on the capacitor, and this is the option C E1 R1 E1 R2 C E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1. So that is option number B. This is option number B. So this is how we calculate if the key is closed for short duration. Now let us see question number 7, MCQ 7. Two conducting sphere of radii r and 2r are placed at a very large separation. So we have two sphere. One is of one is of radius r, other is of radius 2r. Each sphere possesses charge q. So the charge on each sphere is q. These spheres are connected with the conducting wires of resistance R. So the resistance of the wire is R. Then which of the following is true? Now see, we have many options here. You have to find out initial current is, so initial current option are there. You have to find out the current in the circuit. Clearly we know that one will have a high potential and other will have a low potential, and the current will flow from high potential to low potential. So there will be a potential difference. So you have to find out the current, and in how much time the current will reduce to half value. So it is clearly both the capacitor are assumed to be a spherical capacitor. Both the spheres are assumed to be a spherical capacitor. So it is like two capacitors are connected with the resistor R. So let us find out the potential difference. Let us name this sphere as 1 and this as sphere 2. We know that individual sphere can also behave like a capacitor. So V1. So V1 is equal to K Q upon R. So this can be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R, because in option there is no K, there are epsilon naught. So this is V1. V2, that is KQ upon 2R. So V2 is equal to 1 upon 8 pi epsilon naught Q by R. Clearly, the potential difference of this is high. V1 is greater than V2. This value is half, this value is 1. So there is a potential difference. So what will be the potential difference? Delta V. That is V1 minus V2. So that should be equal to KQ by 2R. 1 minus half, that is half. So again I substitute K value. So it becomes Q upon 8 pi epsilon naught R. This is your potential difference. So the current will flow from sphere 1 to sphere 2. What will be the current in the circuit? So current in the circuit is equal to potential difference upon R. So that is equal to Q upon 8 pi epsilon naught R capital R. So this is the initial current in the circuit. Now let us say check option one by one. There are different options given. Now first is given initial current is Q upon 8 pi epsilon naught RR. So that is a correct answer. Second option is initial current is Q upon 4 pi epsilon. Instead of 8 we have 4 in the second option. So clearly option 1 is correct. Now there are four statements given. So first statement is correct. Then you have to check all the four statements. So out of 1 and 2, statement 1 is correct here. Then you have to check the statement 3 and 4. 2 is now wrong. The current reduced to half the initial current after time. So when the current reduced to half, clearly if I consider this 2 sphere as a capacitor, then the capacitance of the first sphere is 4 pi epsilon naught R C2, that is 4 pi epsilon naught, radius is 2R, so C2 is equal to 8 pi epsilon R. Now both the capacitors are assumed or they should be connected in series. So what will be C equivalent? C equivalent will be equal to C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. That is equal to the product. So 32 pi square epsilon square R square upon their addition, that is 12 pi epsilon R. So this will be equal to C equivalent 4 8s and 4 3s. So 8 by 3 pi epsilon R. That is the equivalent resistance. So now it is like the circuit becomes two capacitor connected in series with resistor. Now we know the formula for current in such combination is I naught e raised to minus t upon RC, where RC was a tau or a time period, time constant. Now we have to find out the time when the current becomes half of the initial value. So in the place of I by 2 is equal to I naught, current becomes half of initial value. So this is our initial value. We call it a I naught. This is equal to e raised to minus t upon RC. So I naught is cancelled. So this can be written as half is equal to e minus t by RC. Here in the place of RC you should have C equivalent. Now this negative sign is removed, so 2 is equal to e raised to t upon RC equivalent. Minus sign is removed, so denominator becomes numerator. Taking the log on both sides, ln 2 is equal to ln base e t upon RC equivalent. Now formula ln e base e raised to something, that is this. So ln 2 is equal to t upon RC equivalent. Now t becomes RC equivalent ln 2. So t is equal to R. What is the C equivalent? That is 8 by 3 pi epsilon R into ln 2. So in this much time, the current in the circuit should become half. Now let us see statement 3. Statement 3 says current reduced to half the initial current after time 12 epsilon naught R, so there is no 12. Then option 4, current reduced to half the initial current after time 8 by 3 pi epsilon R, capital R ln 2. So statement 4 is correct. So out of statement 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 1 and 4 to be correct. Now we check a option. So 1 and 4 are correct. So the option is C, where we say the statement 1 and 4 are correct. Now let us see MCQ number 8. A parallel plate capacitor has a plate area A and the separation D between the plates. So we have a capacitor of area A and the distance between the plates is D. The space between the plate is filled with a dielectric constant K and the resistivity rho. So now the space between these two plates is filled with a dielectric. So some dielectric is filled in it. But it has a resistance also. In this case, resistivity is rho. The capacitor is initially charged to Q0 using a battery. After removing battery at t is equal to 0, the current density in the dielectric at any time is, so initially the capacitor was charged by connecting a battery. So charge was Q naught, and now the battery is removed and you have to find out the current density in this situation. Now we know that current density is charge of, current upon area. So we find out first the current at any instant in the circuit. Now we know that in a capacitor, or for a capacitor, with the passage of time the current decreases, and the formula, if you remember, it is I is equal to I naught e raised to t minus RC, that is a time constant. Now if we go through the option, we don't have I naught here, we have Q naught. So again I can be written as charge upon the time, and time was RC. So this is the situation, or if you remember the theory, this is the formula. The maximum current, if you remember, was Q naught upon RC. Now you have to find out current density, that is J. J is I upon A. So at any cost we have to bring A here. Clearly dielectric is being introduced here. So the C becomes K epsilon naught A by D. That is first part. Let us name this as equation 2. R is equal to rho L. So assume this length of a resistance, that is rho D upon area. So now it is very simple. You substitute RC value here and we will check the option. So I is equal to Q naught upon multiplication of RC. So we do the multiplication here. RC is equal to K epsilon naught A by D multiply by rho D upon A. So RC is equal to, here A is cancelled. So K epsilon naught rho D upon DD is also cancelled. Rho L upon A. So multiplication K epsilon naught A by D and then rho D. D is cancelled. So we are left with RC is equal to K epsilon naught rho. The value of this RC in this equation. So substituting equation 4 in equation 1, I is equal to Q naught into RC. So RC is substituted here. Now current density J. J is equal to I upon A. So this is equal to I is Q naught upon A K epsilon naught rho e raised to minus T upon K epsilon naught rho. So this is your J. Q naught upon rho K epsilon naught e raised to minus. So this is your option number A. So the correct option is A here. Now consider the circuit given in MCQ number 9. You have to find out the current through a 2 ohm resistance. So clearly it is a steady state, so no current will flow through this capacitor. So this resistor is meaningless or has no significance in the circuit. Now one method is, if I want to find out the current, this is I, no current will flow through capacitor, so I, let us name this as I1, this as I2, again junction I, current come back to the battery. So there are two variables, I1 and I2. So you can use the Kirchhoff's second law and find out this unknown. One time you take a loop where 2 ohms comes into the circuit, and at the other time you take, because there are two variables, you should have a 2 equation. So in other portion you take 3 ohm in the path. So 2 equation, 2 unknown, you solve it. Otherwise we can also find out directly the total current in the circuit. So total current is equal to total EMF, that is 6, total resistance. So these two are the parallel combination. So let us name this as R23. So it becomes 2 into 3 divided by 5, that is 6 by 5, that is 1.2 ohms. Internal resistance is 1.8. So total EMF is equal to E upon R23 upon small r. So it becomes 6 upon 1.2 plus 2.8, that is 4. 4 means 6 by 4, that is equal to 3 by 2. 1.5 ampere of total current is flowing in the circuit. So directly total current is known. Now we apply the junction rule. Current flowing through, let us name this as R2 and this resistor as R3. So we know at a junction the current formula becomes total current other resistance, that is R3 divided by R2 plus R3. That is how the division of the current is made at a junction. So this becomes total current 1.5, दूसरे का resistance 3 divided by total resistance 5. So 0.3 into 3, that is 0.9 ampere. So out of this 1.5, 0.9 ampere will flow through 2 ohm resistance. The remaining 0.6 will flow through 3 ohm resistance, that is in the ratio of 2:3. Now let us see MCQ number 10. The network is little bit complicated. We have two cells 2E and E connected with two capacitor and resistors R1. In the circuit shown, switch S2 is closed first. So first S2 is closed and is kept closed for a long time. Now S1 is closed. Just after the instant the current through S1 is, means S1 is closed for a short duration, and we have to find out the current in the circuit. Now see, first S2 is pressed for long time. So when S2 is closed for long time, now if we press a key or close a circuit for a long interval of time, the capacitor is fully charged. So here the capacitor will be fully charged and the current flowing to the circuit ideally becomes 0 after a long interval of time. So no current will flow through in this portion, only the current will flow in this portion. Now after the long interval, no current is flowing. So this resistance becomes insignificant and the potential difference across C-D point and potential difference across this C becomes same. So what will be the potential difference across point E and B, or that is the potential difference across this capacitor? It becomes twice E, means this plate becomes positive charge and this plate becomes negative charge. Let us name this as E dash. So this battery is of E. So this is the condition given to us. Here the battery is E symbol is given. Now S1 is closed for a short duration. Now it is pressed for a long interval of time. So now this all becomes insignificant. The current in this portion becomes 0. Now when this is closed for a short duration, the current will start flowing and we have to find out the current at that particular instant when S1 is closed. So suppose the current start flowing. Now clearly we have this capacitor which is fully charged will start behaving like a battery. Now its potential difference is more as compared to this. It is 2E. So it behaves like a battery. This capacitor start charging and this capacitor start discharging. So at that instant, this is the steady state portion. So current should flow like this. So let the current is I. So this is how the current should flow in the circuit. Now you have to find out the direction also in the MCQ. So clearly the current will flow through this side. So we call it towards left as we see the MCQ on the page. So current will flow towards west. So clearly there is only one option towards left, that is option B. So the correct option should be B. If we are able to find out the direction or determine the direction of the current, then there is no need to solve it. However, let us find out the value of the current I. So we apply Kirchhoff's second law to the loop. Let the loop be E dash, F, A, B and again E dash. So we take this loop. Now we move in the direction of the current. We move in the direction of the current. We assume that what will happen to this? What will be the potential difference across C? So we assume the potential difference across this to be 0, provided the S1 is closed for a short duration. So we assume delta T tends to 0. So at that time the charge deposited across C is 0. So potential difference is assumed to be 0 here. So no potential difference is there for a short duration. Current will flow for short duration. You are moving in the direction of current. So I into R1. We come across a positive terminal, that is E. We come across the negative terminal, so minus 2E. So this implies I R1 is equal to E. Therefore I is equal to E upon R1, and the direction should be towards left. So that is option number B. So this is how we determine the situation when S1 is closed for a short duration of time. So this were the 10 MCQ related to the RC circuit regarding the charging, discharging of a capacitor and the steady state of the circuit. Have a nice day.